and welcome to the Your Business Incubator podcast. And today we have a conversation and a topic that absolutely affects every person out there that has started a business and is trying to generate sales. And we're going to label this conversation as it's really not you, it's definitely them when it's time to close the deal. Tiffany, my co-working partner, the great Tiffany the Great. Please
Oh my gosh.
expand on that a little bit.
Wow. So just so our listeners know, Brandon and I had a good chuckle when we were putting together this podcast because it's just so right on the money of what I believe happens to every new business owner. In fact, it's not even every new business owner. Every time you start a new business, every time you have to sell to customers or clients, this must happen at least once. You just get better at adjusting to it and you just know immediately uh it's not you, it's definitely them. But sometimes leading up to it, it's a little hard. So, for all of those out there who are just getting into sales right now and trying to sell the product or service for their business, this is, let me just set the stage of what happens, right? So, you meet somebody and you hit it off great. You feel like you say all the right things, the meeting goes great, they're really like, nodding, they're into it, they totally get your concept, they understand what is it that you're trying to sell. And maybe you exchange a few emails after that, the conversation keeps flowing, and they're super engaged, they're responsive, and you're getting excited because like this could be your first sale. And this is really going to be kind of like your ticket for more future sales. And what happens is it goes all the way up to when you need to sign the dotted line, meaning you have a contract and you send it over to them, and you just know this is an absolute slam dunk. Everything, all the I's have been dotted, T's has been crossed. All they have to do is sign the paperwork, and they've been really positive about the whole time. And you send the paperwork to them, and they don't sign.
Dun dun dun.
And maybe you can't get a hold of them by email, maybe you can't get home by phone, or maybe they do respond 1 or 2 emails here and there, but all of a sudden, it's just kinda like the entire thing just falls off the cliff, and the
Well,
sale never happens.
insane. And my first reaction is what the F, you know? And what the F and what has happened,
Yeah, like, what went wrong?
because no one ever is going to give you the real story. And
No.
it makes you wonder about, well, has this person just been stringing me along all this time and just wanted as much information as possible in order to get maybe a better deal from somebody else? Or the worst part about it is, you're educating them so much about your products and services that they become an expert when considering getting quotes from somebody else. Um, it's just insane that people just don't honestly say, the truth behind whatever may have happened to change your mind all of a sudden instead
Yes, I
of
mean,
leading people on.
they don't wanna hurt anybody's feelings, which is completely understandable, but I do know, like, from the business owner's point
You're
of view.
grown ass adults.
But from a business owner's point of view, it is so disappointing, right? To get so close to the finish line to only know that you can't cross the finish line. And it takes two to cross. You can't do it on your own. And this, here's the thing is this happens. Doesn't matter if you're a seasoned entrepreneur or you're just starting out, this happens. And it's okay because it's not you. It's definitely them.
Dun dun dun.
There's just a whole bunch of things that could happen. Now, I like to be a little bit more positive in the sense of giving the other person the benefit of the doubt. So, and
Yeah.
sometimes things do happen. Something's happened in their business, something has changed strategy wise. There's a lot of considerations that they have on their end that you may not be privy to. Now, I agree with you, Brandon. It would be lovely to know the truth.
I
And
want the truth.
and I will tell you that when I used to do like sales a lot more regularly than I do now, sometimes I not sometimes, oftentimes, if a client comes back and they're like, you know, or this happens where the sales kind of drops a little bit. I do send in like a very polite email or a polite phone call to say, "Hey, I just want to know, like, you know, what was the factors that kind of driven this reason to not move forward." Now, I
Right.
will tell you that nobody's going to tell you the truth because again,
No.
there's feelings right involved. Nobody wants to be the bad person to tell you that whatever the real reason is behind it. But I will guarantee that, like, a lot of times it's just not you. It's not anything you're doing. You probably did all the right things. Sometimes there are well, sometimes. First of all, welcome to business. A lot of times things are out of your
Right.
control. And how what somebody reacts to and what their environment is and what their situation is completely out of your control.
Right.
So,
Well, when you spend a tremendous amount of time, you know, uh, courting a prospect to close the deal, and the larger the dollar amount of the deal, normally the more time you have to put into it
very true.
to get to that point. What I have learned over the many years in selling and doing this is now to identify certain parameters around everything that goes into the sell. And one of the things that I believe that I've gotten better at is coming to the point of asking to close the deal within a certain amount of time, and just seeing how you know the the art of the sale can close.
Mhm.
And I love the phrase, what do we need to do to close this deal or to
Mhm.
get this over the finish line? Or, what do we have to do to get a signed agreement?
Mhm.
And put dates so that it's not open-ended where you're sitting over a proposal and everyone is saying it's great, it's dandy, I love it, I'm gonna close, and then they ghost you. And that's just not, in my opinion, a great way of how people should do business. But it
But it
happens.
happens.
It happens. It
Exactly.
happens.
It happens.
It
And
happens.
and that's the thing is I would say that, you take a hard look at what you've done and whether or not you feel like you put your best foot forward and you kind of did all the right things for the process of the close. And if you did and it still didn't close, again, could be one of those situations. It's out of your control. And it's
Right.
unfortunate because like you said, you spent all this time dating and then you're like, oh crap.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not going anywhere, right? There's no proposal at the end of this.
Right. But I've
Um
taken you out to dinner 3 or 4 times, and it's like, "What? I can't get that kiss goodnight? What the" so
Yeah. So don't feel too disheartened like this happens. Now, it shouldn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So, just take an hour to wallow in it and then brush yourself off and then on to the next one.
right. That's all I should be saying about this conversation,
That's right.
because I
So
know
on
some
to the
people.
next one.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. Now that I got that off my shoulder and off my chest.
You feeling a little bit better?
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little
Well,
bit.
welcome to our therapy.
And a cat sitting over here in the corner shaking his head. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah. Your cat's probably like, "Oh, thank goodness the man has somebody else to talk to instead of us.
Right, exactly.
We hear
Today.
about this so much."
Yeah, that's today.
Nope, it's just one of those, it's just part of doing business
Yes.
at the end of the day. So again, keep in mind, it is not you. Sometimes it's definitely them.
Yeah.
So keep your chin up while you're out there trying to make the next sell, and eventually it's gonna happen for you.
Yeah, and learn
So
how to ask for a closing date, and learn how to create conversations that talk about, you know, completing the deal or moving on.
yeah. And that's the other thing too, like, it's sometimes really hard to contain your emotions when you're talking about your possible first sale.
Right.
right? And so because you're so excited for that first sale, you just also want to have a good balance to know that, look, like, you're not desperate, right? If the sale doesn't happen, the sale doesn't happen. You just don't want to come off as being super desperate that you need this first sale. Yes, it's exciting, but you want to be able to cross that finish line feeling good about yourself and how you handled the sale. So,
Right. Correct.
best foot forward.
Yep. Yep.
All
Yep. Yep.
right. So with that, with our theme phrase today, Brandon,
It's not really you. It's them.
we are done for today's episode. So if you know somebody who could use today's episode as just, a feel good, because maybe they had a hard day, maybe they just lost a sale that they worked really hard for, please forward this episode to them. We would love to be a little lift in their day. Otherwise, we will be back for another episode soon. So until then, we are signing off.
Holla at your boy.
Bye.